The Galactic Armada had silenced entire civilizations, but on this day, they went silent for a different reason. Not from victory, not from power, but because a single human child stepped forward and showed them a courage the galaxy had never seen. The sky above Earth was not a sky anymore. It was a wall, cold, metallic, unbroken. A titanic armada of alien dreadnoughts hung overhead like a second moon, each vessel bristling with weapons older than human civilization. Cities fell quiet, birds stopped singing, even the winds seemed afraid to move. Every screen on Earth flickered as the alien ultimatum broadcast once more. Surrender your world. You are outmatched. Resistance will mean extinction. Humanity had faced many enemies: disease, war, famine, darkness. Never this, an empire that had burned continents on other worlds for sport. The Zaldrun Dominion was known across the galaxy for defeating even the fiercest species. Humanity, by comparison, was still new to the stars, small, fragile, untested. Governments scrambled, armies mobilized, satellites trembled with interference, but fear spread faster than hope. The invasion was coming. Humanity knew it. The galaxy knew it. And the Dominion knew humanity would kneel. Except they didn't. In a small refugee camp outside the ruins of an evacuated city, families clung to each other, listening to the sky rumble with alien thunder. Among them was Mira, a quiet 9-year-old girl holding a frayed stuffed bear. She looked at the sky not with terror, but with something the soldiers had nearly forgotten existed: wonder. She tugged at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, why are they angry?" He crouched, voice breaking. "They're not angry, Mira. They're afraid we might fight back." Mira frowned, as if that explanation made no sense at all. Why would a giant armada be afraid of humans? Why would anyone want to hurt people who just wanted to live? As the alien fleet descended lower, shaking the ground, something inside Mira changed. A strange calm filled her chest. She didn't understand politics or strategy, but she understood this. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to speak. Someone had to tell them what humans were truly like. And she realized nobody else was doing it. So she decided she would. The sky above Earth was not a sky anymore. It was a wall, cold, metallic, unbroken. A titanic armada of alien dreadnoughts hung overhead like a second moon, each vessel bristling with weapons older than human civilization. Cities fell quiet, birds stopped singing, even the winds seemed afraid to move. Every screen on Earth flickered as the alien ultimatum broadcast once more. Surrender your world. You are outmatched. Resistance will mean extinction. Humanity had faced many enemies: disease, war, famine, darkness. Never this, an empire that had burned continents on other worlds for sport. The Zaldrun Dominion was known across the galaxy for defeating even the fiercest species. Humanity, by comparison, was still new to the stars, small, fragile, untested. Governments scrambled, armies mobilized, satellites trembled with interference, but fear spread faster than hope. The invasion was coming. Humanity knew it. The galaxy knew it. And the Dominion knew humanity would kneel. Except they didn't. In a small refugee camp outside the ruins of an evacuated city, families clung to each other, listening to the sky rumble with alien thunder. Among them was Mira, a quiet 9-year-old girl holding a frayed stuffed bear. She looked at the sky not with terror, but with something the soldiers had nearly forgotten existed: wonder. She tugged at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, why are they angry?" He crouched, voice breaking. "They're not angry, Mira. They're afraid we might fight back." Mira frowned, as if that explanation made no sense at all. Why would a giant armada be afraid of humans? Why would anyone want to hurt people who just wanted to live? As the alien fleet descended lower, shaking the ground, something inside Mira changed. A strange calm filled her chest. She didn't understand politics or strategy, but she understood this. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to speak. Someone had to tell them what humans were truly like. And she realized nobody else was doing it. so she decided she would. The Concordance Armada arrived in Earth's orbit without warning, titanic ships blotting out the stars, their metallic silhouettes dwarfing the moon itself. To most humans, the sudden appearance of alien war vessels triggered panic, fear, and chaos. But to the galactic observers inside those ships, humanity's response was confusing. Instead of surrendering, Earth reacted with a strange mix of fearlessness and stubborn pride. Emergency services ran toward danger, not away from it. Scientists rushed to communications labs, militaries mobilized with precision. Civilians stayed calm, organizing shelters and distributing food as if preparing for a storm rather than an extraterrestrial invasion. What baffled the aliens most wasn't Earth's weaponry, it was the resolve in every human face. But amid the governments, generals, and diplomats preparing for the worst, one event changed everything. A small exploration craft from the Armada malfunctioned during orbital descent and plummeted toward a rural human town. The aliens inside expected death. No species had ever survived crashing through the violent atmosphere of a death world. But that day, something extraordinary happened. A human child, no more than 10 years old, was the first to reach the crash. She stood alone in a smoking field, heat waves shimmering around her as she stared at the shattered pod. The metal hissed as it cooled. Sparks crackled. The ground trembled under her feet. Inside, the alien pilot struggled to stay conscious. He expected fear, screams, maybe even an attack. Instead, he saw a small silhouette approaching. She was trembling, yes, but her voice was steady. "Hey, are you okay?" That single moment froze the alien pilot's mind. No armor, no weapon, no army. Just a child willingly walking toward an enemy powerful enough to glass continents. When rescue teams arrived, the girl refused to leave. "He's scared," she insisted. "He needs help." Recordings of her words were transmitted back to the Armada instantly. Those recordings brought an entire war fleet to silence. For the first time in galactic history, a Deathworld child had shown compassion toward an invader powerful enough to glass continents. The alien commanders realized something terrifying. Humanity wasn't dangerous because of aggression. They were dangerous because of courage.
News spread through the Armada with impossible speed. The humans had sent no threats, no retaliation, just a child offering help. Entire command decks paused their work to rewatch the footage. Soldiers stared in disbelief. Diplomats argued among themselves. Strategists rewrote entire invasion models. How could a Deathworld species, supposedly one of the most violent in the galaxy, respond with compassion in a moment designed to inspire terror? The Alien High Council demanded the injured pilot be questioned. What did the child say? What did she do? Did she threaten you? The pilot shook with confusion. "She held my hand." That single sentence shattered centuries of xenophobic doctrine. Meanwhile, on Earth, the child, Mira, refused to leave the alien's side. Emergency responders carried him to a shelter, and she walked beside them the whole way, insisting he stay calm. She offered her blanket, her water bottle, her stories. Inside the Armada, millions watched her through their ship feeds. Some cried, some trembled, some felt their worldviews collapse. But not all were convinced. A faction of alien warlords argued, this is a trick, a Deathworld tactic, a trap. So they demanded to meet the child. A massive holographic communication channel opened between the flagship and Earth, a channel large enough that Mira could see alien commanders the size of buildings staring down at her. One commander, voiced like a grinding machine, asked, "Child of Terra, why did you help our soldier?" Mira blinked, confused. "He was hurt." "That is not an answer," the alien growled. "It is," she replied softly. "If someone needs help, you help. That's what humans do." That line was broadcast through every ship in the fleet, and the silence that followed was absolute. No calculation, no doctrine, no military strategy prepared them for a species whose greatest weapon was empathy forged in disaster. It was then the Armada realized, if human children carried such courage, what would the adults be capable of?
Mira didn't want to be a symbol. She didn't want attention. She simply wanted the alien pilot, Karen, to recover safely. But the galaxy had already chosen her. The Armada decided if humanity's courage was genuine, it must be tested. So they requested a formal encounter, not with generals, not with diplomats, but with the girl. She agreed without hesitation. The meeting took place at the landing zone, an enormous clearing reinforced for alien vessels. When the cruiser descended, its engines roared like hurricanes, but she didn't flinch. The wind whipped her hair. Dust spiraled around her, yet she stood her ground. Alien soldiers emerged, towering above her. Their armor glowed with power. Their eyes studied every twitch, every heartbeat. One warrior stepped forward. "We are the vanguard of the Concordance Armada. We seek to understand your kind." Mira looked up boldly. "Okay?" The warriors exchanged confused glances. She wasn't intimidated. She wasn't overwhelmed. She treated them as if they were just people. The commander asked, "Why do you not fear us?" Mira shrugged. "You're big and loud, but not mean." This answer stunned them more than any weapon humanity possessed. In the Armada's culture, children hid from soldiers. They bowed, obeyed, trembled. But this human child evaluated them like a scientist inspecting a strange animal. Fearless curiosity, another Deathworld trait. Then came the crucial test. A warrior activated a device that projected the Armada's full invasion capability. Glowing maps of potential destruction, their massive fleet formations, simulations of planetary conquest. They expected the girl to faint. Instead, she frowned. "That's mean. Why would you want to hurt people?" The warriors froze. She wasn't afraid of annihilation. She was disappointed by it. That moment hit them harder than any threat could. For the Armada, dominance came first. For humans, empathy came first. Yet both walked hand in hand with survival. The commander deactivated the simulation and kneeled, an act of surrender in their culture. "You are unlike any species we have known," he said softly. "Humans are different, but not bad." The Armada realized the terrifying truth. A species that raised children this brave could not be conquered.
As Mira's meeting with the alien warriors concluded, the atmosphere inside the Armada shifted. Millions watched the live feed. Every soldier, every strategist, every commander, each waited for the decision that would shape the fate of two civilizations. The Concordance High Council gathered in their vast tribunal chamber, a circular hall lined with shimmering starlight panels representing every world under their authority. At the center hovered the hologram of Mira, standing small yet unshaken. The counselors debated fiercely. "Her courage is a statistical anomaly," one argued. "No child should stand before a war fleet without fear." Another countered, "She is not the anomaly, she is the baseline. We misjudged humanity entirely." Data streams projected all recorded human behavior, firefighters running toward flames, doctors treating the infected, rescue workers braving storms, parents shielding children. Humans confronted danger not only for themselves, but for others. The most senior counselor, Elder Vorthen, arose. "This child has revealed the truth. Humanity's greatest strength is not their brutality nor their technology, but their hearts." However, some council members still resisted. "She is one child. We cannot trust an entire Deathworld species based on her." Vorthen replied, "Then let us speak to her pilot." K. Ren, still recovering, was brought forth. His voice trembled as he recounted what happened. "When I crashed, I believed I would die, but she approached me with kindness. Not caution, not hostility. A kindness that quieted my fear." He paused, trying not to break. "She held my hand, and for the first time since joining this Armada, I felt safe." Silence spread through the chamber like gravity. The final vote was cast. The Armada would not invade. They would not subjugate. They would seek peace, because a human child showed them a different path. Orders spread instantly through the fleet, weapons powered down, shields lowered, engines cooled. On Earth, humanity braced for an attack. But instead, the sky filled with beams of golden light as the Armada signaled truce. And across the galaxy, one undeniable truth became clear. It wasn't Earth's armies that stopped the invasion. It was a single brave child who reminded the universe what humanity truly is.
The next morning, Earth awoke to a sight no human had ever seen. The massive alien warships slowly repositioning, forming a perfect ring above the planet like guardians, not conquerors. Mira stood in the field where it all began, Karin beside her, leaning on a support frame but smiling warmly. Reporters gathered at a distance, careful not to overwhelm the girl who unknowingly changed history. A glowing beam descended, and an alien dignitary emerged, a high-ranking envoy of the Concordance. He carried no weapon, no shield, only a ceremonial tablet. He approached Mira and knelt. "In our culture, we kneel only to those whose courage outshines our own." Gasps rippled through the human crowd. Mira blinked, confused. "You don't have to kneel. I'm just a kid." The envoy shook his head. "You are the reason our weapons are silent, the reason our soldiers sheathed their blades.
You saved 2 species from a war we believed inevitable." He held out the tablet. "This is a concordance accord of peace, not between governments, not between militaries, but between our people, inspired by your example." Mira traced the glowing symbols with awe. "But I didn't do anything big." Karen smiled. "You didn't need to. Sometimes the smallest kindness changes the largest destinies." The envoy rose and spoke loudly enough for all gathered and all ships listening in orbit to hear. "Let it be known across the stars, humanity is not a species of destruction, but of unbreakable courage, and today a child has reminded us of that truth." At that moment, a sight unfolded that would be replayed across the galaxy for centuries. Every ship in the Armada activated its honor lights, thousands of radiant beams shining towards Earth like falling stars, a gesture reserved only for the bravest beings in the galaxy. All for a little girl who refused to be afraid. Mira smiled shyly, gripping Karn's hand. "So, we're friends now?" The alien envoy bowed. "From this day forward, yes." With the threat gone, with peace secured, with the galaxy humbled, humanity realized the profound lesson behind the moment. Courage does not come from strength. Strength comes from courage. And sometimes, courage comes from a child.